Welcome to the very first video of this playlist. In this playlist, we'll be going through a couple of steps as you saw in the introduction, and this is the very first step where we start designing our retail unit for our optimization purposes. And this is our area to start with, this one. So very first step will be defining our roads, right? We cannot have a massing that is adjacent to all the buildings that we are having here. So what we are going to say is we'll be setting this as one curve, this large one, and then we'll be offsetting it to, sorry, not this one, that's coming from another plugin. And then we'll be offsetting it in a negative manner. And like, let's say 5 meters per each edge, right? I mean, you can find a lot of different ways to go through this, but for this video, for this playlist, we'll stay something with basics, all right? And the next thing, you see this is basically our setup, but what we want to have is instead of extruding this, maybe we can come up with sort of a interesting approach to this. So if we explode all this, and if we create kind of a like points in between all these line segments by pulling out a evaluate curve, and these are going to be my curves, and my parameter will be a gene pool. And let's edit this. Let's have 4 gene pools because we have 4 edges, and the decimals, let's say 3, because we'll be using this as our optimization as well. So minimum would be, let's say 0.2 or 0.25 till 0.80. You know why I'm adding this? Because if we have something like minimum, let's say for this one, if it goes this direction or this edge, that might be problematic, right? Because they might meet on those edges as well, which will give us a little chance to deal with this. So maybe this is a bit short. So what we can do here is maybe edit this and then 0.2 to 0.9. I mean 0.15. I mean, it's completely up to us actually. We can create an optimization just for this, but again, like we want to keep things simple as possible for the sake of this video. And if we create a polyline, then we are going to have our polyline as such, and if we plot a toggle, then we create this. So this is basically how we create our very first and very simple setup for our plot for where we are going to start building our tower. Okay, because the very first part is the retail part, right? And we should be defining sort of a area or height or volume to this equation so that we can build like more control. In the next video, we'll touch upon that part. So stay tuned for the next video.